All right. I'm going to be very, 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 very honest with y'all. This is my fourth take of doing this intro. um, man, when I tell you that I have been, whoo, like I don't know what to do with these intros, but you know what? Let me just let's just do this intro. Let's just do it. This is actually the last thing I'm gonna do. And if I fuck up, I fuck up. Oh yeah, let me just put this on here as well. Um, Welcome to Holla at Jai, where I'm spiritually blessed, which forces my life to take a rest and sometimes put it in distress. But I also use music as my way to express. So what's Coochie, everybody? Welcome to season 2. Now that's crazy because I can tell y'all right now that my first episode of Holla at Jai was back in November of 22. Yeah, yep. Um, it's this has been a wild time. My last episode I posted was in 2023. Um, I think it was January. The end of January is the last time I posted a video or posted a podcast. So it's been a long time coming. I'm gonna be very honest with you. This came out of the blue. I was literally at work last night, and I was excuse me, and I was just thinking and something. And you start just talking in your head, and you just start talking out loud. And I'm just like, this topic that I'm thinking of, this topic that I'm literally like in like this think mode and just deep think mode, just you have to get it out somehow. Um, I don't talk to my therapist until next week, and I'm just like sitting here like this would be a great podcast episode. Like seriously, like this will be a great podcast episode. So, you saw the title. If you haven't, well, then just wait. If you're on YouTube, you guys can literally like go to the timestamp if you want to start the podcast, the real time. This is just the intro and just getting everything together. What's next for Holla at Jai? I'm telling you, I'm actually about to have a great old time. I'm about to have a great old time here. Because this season is actually going to go slow. And what I mean by slow is that I'm actually going to take my time with it. And this is just honestly a spontaneous episode. So this is just, I'm just getting stuff out there. But I'm really going to have guests this episode. Absolutely. I'm definitely going to be having guests this episode. I have to reach out to some people, schedule some things, and make things on and popping. But I'm definitely going to have people on here to make a lot of things interesting because I have a few people in my mind right now that I actually need to write down so that I can make sure that I reach out to them. Like what's your schedule like? Because, one schedule's probably a little busy, but I definitely want to do some interviews. Well, quote unquote interviews. It's actually just conversation with old friends, some family members, because some family members have been talking about it, have been threatening me, but that's cool. So that's the best part. Um and so I think that um that's really just something I felt to call, having that just having an outlet, but also just having things to entertain while you listen. And so, one thing about this podcast I want to change before I get into the topic is literally like change, is literally like express every part of me, which is my spiritual side, which is also my personal life, which is also my love for music and creating it, and also anything else random that comes in my head. And this is why that's why I literally have it says spiritual and personal life, music, etc. Because etc. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I was very nervous about getting behind this mic again. I was very nervous on how am I going to express myself, like what's the best way. And, having a conversation with my ancestors. And yes, that sounds weird, but my ancestors like to visit me in my dreams. So, my spiritual things happen. And the one thing in my dreams that I remember was they saying creator. And the more things they said was, we are ready for movement in your life and you have to believe again. And this is all before I literally got this, all before I put this mic on record. And so, it's really just indicating, let's just you have the idea and you're all for it. Now you just got to do it, because I don't know how the response is going to be. I don't know how the feedback's going to be. So the best thing I just have to do is just do it and then put it out there. And so I think that's just what it is. And that's just what it was. I'm glad that I was able to get that message from them. So yeah, so let's give like a quick little update. So, so I'm bald. If you don't know, if you don't know, yes, I am bald. I decided to cut all my hair off. Yes, I went straight Britney Spears. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I went straight Britney Spears. Only because, let me just say this, only because I've noticed my balding coming in. At first I thought it was just a chemical burn from a product that I was using. But you know, that was what, back in August? Back in August, I think I got that product and I think I accidentally put it in my hair. I want to say that was back in August, and it's March, and I'm still having that same bald spot. And then I'm realizing that there was a whole trail that's low. Like my hairline looks like, now my hairline is not depleting, but the hair that's like literally behind my hairline is like literally like fading away. And so I'm sitting here like, oh, okay. Um, yeah. Oh no, y'all! I got that back in July of 2024. Oh yeah, no, I'm going bald. Like yeah, oh no, 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 I'm going bald. I'm literally going bald. That is just that yeah, 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 yeah. I'm definitely going bald. So I'm just like, you know what? Let me just stop. Let me just stop the fronting. Let me just stop everything, and let's just cut it all off. It's a stamp, and you know my feedback has been has been good. You know, a lot of people say it fits me, and you know, I'm definitely getting used to it. I'll walk past the mirror, and I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, I really did that. I really just cut my hair off, and it's weird. But you know what? I think this is a great step for me, and you know, I can't really hate on that. I'm gonna get used to it. I definitely can wear hats now without feeling like my head. But actually, before I even start, I do want to say it is like 30 degrees where I'm at right now, and when that wind blows, everything. And I'm telling you, I feel everything when I don't have a hat on, and that's when I tell you that right there, I gotta get used to that. But other than that, that's really just a great update. So, y'all, let's just get into the topic. Let's just get into the topic. So, topic is you are more than just the sexless friend, and let me talk about it. Yes, let's talk about especially the people who are sexless, especially the people who are celibate, especially for those who are, you know, celibacy doesn't happen, especially if you've been celibate for 2 months. If you've been 6 years like me, or maybe 8, 10, a year, 3 days, you know, it's all in the same box. But, you know, let's talk about it. Let's talk about a little bit of me a little bit. Now, this is where the conversation gets a little bit tricky because I just got that like that slight uncomfortable feeling. But let's keep going. So let's just talk about a little bit my little personal celibacy journey on like how technically I was forced into celibacy, and then I just accepted it halfway because clearly I wasn't getting nowhere. Because the first 3 years of my celibacy wasn't a choice; it just happened, or it just randomly happened, and I didn't really accept it as celibacy until like year 4. I'm gonna be very honest. I didn't know it was like I was put in like this celibacy place until year 4, because the first year, like, so I was 20 when I first had like, you could start by saying a dry spell. Honestly, you could definitely say it was like a dry spell or just a period of just dry. I was what, a junior in college. I want to say I was a junior in college, or a sophomore. No, I was a junior because my birthday is the summer. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I was a junior in college, and you know there was a little like what, like 2 people I was trying to hunch on. Like 2 people I was trying to hunch on. Like one of them it wasn't gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen. They had a stern one, but another one was very teeter totter. Was very teeter totter, and it just came from here to there, like one end from one end. They were more positive, but they were like more secluded the next, and they were more this. Okay, so you know, typical stuff. You know, when it came around to it, like coming into like, that was a whole year of that. And then when senior year came around and graduating, a little pause back, they didn't really go for it. And like, it was cool. I wasn't really shattered about it. And then, after graduation, everything just started slowing down a little bit. You know, I was actually jobless for an entire year. I kept, I don't know, but people say they get hot when people say that they're hiring and they just keep rejecting you, even though you're qualified for it and you're doing all this, you're doing this right, but of course they're looking for something else, and it was very discouraging. So it actually explains why I wasn't so focused on sex. I was like the first 3 years after graduation. It's because actually I was like in this turmoil, just like looking in between, looking at this, looking at that. How am I going to get there? How am I going to get this? What am I going to do next? I need to do this. I need to get a car. I need to get a job. It was just so much that sex was actually the last thing. But of course, with my friends, they were more put together, so sex could be put into that situation. Actually, I'll get into the topic of friends when it comes to sex life later. But I guess like the first 3 years, it wasn't really a big deal because, well, first 2 years I'll say, first 2 years of after graduating, it wasn't that bad until that end of the third year, going into year four. I got a job. Actually, it was a good steady job, and then I got a little bit promotion with the job, and that was how it went steady. And then I wanted to be more active in my life. I started going out with my friends a little bit more, which is honestly new to me because going out in especially in a city where the energy is not it, but you go anyway just to see. So you have low hopes anyway. Because, like, what do you expect? What do you expect for things? Again, this is actually a time where a lot more things were less expensive, and a lot of bar drinks were less expensive than what they were. So, that was definitely a difference. Back in 2023? Yeah, I'm gonna say 2023. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 2023. Yeah, yeah. I graduated in 2021. So, yeah, 2023. Um, Dang, that was really 2 years ago. Anyway, anyway, yeah, 2023 was the 2023 was the fourth year. That's crazy. That's like saying this stuff out loud, and that's crazy. 2023 was literally no, it was the fifth. No, because I became 6 years in November of 2020. Oh gosh, y'all, my time is off. But anyway, what was I about to say with that? Oh yeah, going out and like the energy was different. So you just like you don't know what you expect, and you just want to try to live. You just want to try to live, and you realize that you're not getting the results that you want. You realize you're not getting the results that you feel like you need to get. You feel like you don't. You feel like you're being pushed back or having that setback. Or I felt like that I was having that pushback and setback that when I was struggling to find a job, when I was struggling to even keep money in my pockets, when I had to tell my friends no because I didn't have the funds to go out. I didn't want my friends to. I didn't want to rely on my friends too much. I did that somewhat in high school, and I actually, I'm not even going to say low key regret. I actually do regret it because I wish I was able to contribute more to what we were doing to have fun. And so, um, I don't know where I was going with that. I literally was just talking, but I was talking about how my celibacy journey started, and then out of nowhere, and I think it was just me going out in the city, especially in my hometown, especially in my city, and you know, you will get seriously turned off. But you don't want to get turned off because that actually blocks opportunities. But it's just like, what's the point? Like, I come here and I'm just like, everybody's either taken, everybody's either slept with each other, and you're just sitting here like, that's disgusting. I don't want that. And you know what? You sit there and you just start creating blockages for yourself. But in blockages, you just start protecting yourself because you already know. And it's weird, especially with me and like dating apps. And dating apps I would do, and like dating apps would be cool, but especially if I was just on dating apps just to hook up, and I was just like, you know what, let me just hook up, let me just do this. Like, even the conversations building up to us wanting to link up was just so uncomfortable. It was just so not what you would build up to. I know we're just here for sex, but like, wouldn't you try to be more, I don't know, more convincing and allow me to be more comfortable? Because godly, I'm about to be like really just have sex with you. Like, what is it? And it's just like, I constantly delete dating apps. I mean, I haven't honestly haven't really I really haven't downloaded a dating app in months actually now. I'll say, yeah, 2024, the end, probably, yeah, the fall of 2024 is the last time I really like downloaded a dating app. Um, I don't know. I think dating apps work with some people. Dating apps work for others, but dating apps just, people are, I can't explain it. I cannot explain what people are on dating apps. And let me tell you something, and I can't really blame the people because clearly that shit worked for somebody else. Like, clearly that shit worked for somebody else. They got somebody by doing what they did. But of course, they can't get me with that because yeah. I mean, yeah, like literally, you get the ick, you start getting turned off, and you're just sitting here like, yeah, no, I'm not desperate, but I want it bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want it bad, but it's just like I won't just do it just to do it, just because I'm like that, just because I'm in this state of fiending, or I'm like in this state of I need something to distract me, or I need something to just like I need some type of validation through my body, you know? And I guess that leads to my own opinion on sex, and actually, and I really have to, and I literally forget about this all the time. I got reminded this week, and let me just say this: the reason why, honestly, this episode is coming up is because this week alone has been hell surrounding my sex life, and everything's just thinking about it, and just everything about it is just hell this week. And I'm still walking this damn hellish path, and it's still clouding my mind, and I have good moments where I'm just like I'm cool with it, but then out of the blue, especially at work when I'm doing my job, like dark thoughts just come in my head, and just negative thoughts on, like, I'll get to the negative thoughts because honestly it ties into like a little, like a segue into something that I want to talk about, but um it's just random. And like I hate it because I'm like really in the morning, like when I'm like after like exercising, like doing my workouts and eating and like getting ready for work, I'm cool. And like, but like hours, like an hour or two later is where things just start getting negative, and I start feeling like my chest cave in, I start feeling my heart pumping, and I start feeling my anxiety being built up all over again. And it's kind of hard to like put myself back in that peaceful place that I was. But it's the one thing about mental health, it will just get you. And then like, with me having anxiety, it just doesn't help. But with my opinion on sex, honestly, I'm all for it. Ooh, I hope I didn't turn red like that. I'm all for it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I guess with me, I remember years back, and I think honestly is where I actually made the choice to be celibate. So I actually have to take my statement back. This whole 6 years was honestly a choice, and I and it's so weird that I'm now realizing that when I literally just made it up. When I not made it up. When I literally just remembered this week that I made a vow to myself that those 6 years ago, I literally made a vow to myself that I wouldn't have sex unless I was in a relationship. So I guess you can get like the roots of my little like depressive episode, or my like my yearning, or my jealousy, or my dark thoughts, to like really just like dumb up to like how I've never like really been in a relationship, or how I haven't even been even on the way to a relationship, like find somebody potential, like really talk to anybody in a romantic sense in so long when I have tried. I've literally tried. My friend said that I don't go out, and I'm like I'm a homebody, which I definitely agree with. Like, let's be honest, I am a homebody, but there has been times, and I would say there has been like a good, like I can count on two hands how many times I've literally been out to the bars and the clubs without my friends by myself just to see what would happen. I would literally do that. I did like literally I did it a few times at the end of 2024, like some weekends when I knew they had to work, and so I would go out for a couple hours and um just go out, and I would see people that I know. I would talk to them. I would not, I wouldn't be shy. I wouldn't be like the quiet one waiting for like no. I would just see what will happen, and you get no results like dressing up. Well, excuse me. Let me just say I. Let me just say I. I didn't get no results. Some people they're different. Let me tell you something. A lot of people are different. So, and I didn't no results and no nothing, and I'm not really a going out person. Like I would go to a house party, absolutely. I would just have that type of situation. But like when it comes to going out to the clubs, like I just like if my friends aren't going, or if I don't get invited out, I'm just not gonna go. Yes, you have to put yourself out there to meet somebody, but at the same time, I guess I'm in the wrong city to be doing that. I guess I really do have to realize that I'm in a city where I literally have been around people my whole entire life. Even if it was just in high school, and like they're changed, but it's just like, you still kind of act the same. Mm. And you hang out with that person. If they friends with you, then they definitely be okay. Yeah, that's okay. You start putting two and two together, and you just can't help but to be like, okay, yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. But you still have hope though. Like you still have hope to go out, and you still have hope to just possibly even meet a potential, and then maybe something will happen. But I guess I have to keep reminding myself that I did make that vow to myself 6 years ago that I wouldn't have sex unless I was in a relationship. And I was in with a connection, even. And so, I have to remember that. But my opinion on sex is very, very, very evolved. I guess I could say, because I guess I think of sex more spiritual than everybody else. And I still think it's very pleasurable. I think it's fun. I think all the things. But I think it's very much the first thing I think of when I think of sex is like such an energy exchange. Such an energy exchange. And I think that people just forget that sometimes, especially the people who just don't care and that just goes out of nowhere to just have sex with him, her, them, all around and every day, and it's constantly. They just forget how much that just transfers to people. Like you're literally being vulnerable with this person. Literally having literally you are literally literally showing off one of the most sensitive parts of your body and connecting it with somebody else, taking their energy that they're with, and now you're wondering why you're so down in the dumps. You wonder why you making stupid decisions. You wondering why that you feel ups and downs with your emotions. You really why like you're feeling an opinion that you never felt. You wondering why that you feel like you changed out of the blue, but you just had sex with that person 4 days ago. It's like I guess people don't see it as that. You could say I'm a little bit more advanced. You could say, well, I won't. Yeah, you could say I'm a little bit more advanced because I can't say I'm more mature because that's not really what the word is. I'm a little bit more advanced when it comes to thinking about sex. Again, I'm all for it. I don't judge people that have sex like that. Like I don't, but it's just like for me, I'm already sensitive to energy. I'm already sensitive to energy as is. So constant having sex is just having this transfer of energy just to have like fun. It's just I don't know. I don't know how I would be able to even comprehend all of that. Like that's a constant cleanse that I'm gonna have to do with myself after all the sex, just so I won't carry what the person had into me, and so they can literally feel light while I'm also feeling heavy. You know what I mean? So I guess that's just my opinion on sex. I guess I just want to have a connection with somebody and actually be in that relationship to really feel comfortable with exchanging that energy. No, I'm not waiting till marriage, quote unquote. I'm not that way. No, but I will. I do have to remind myself. I do want to wait until I do get in a relationship, which is hard. Which, oh my God, which is hard. Which we're actually going to get to the subject. Which, why is it hard? Why is it hard to commit this vow to yourself? Why is it so hard to continue to remind yourself that you made a vow to yourself that you want to wait till you found somebody? And then be, it's hard because the company that you keep can be sexually active while you're the sexless friend. And this whole podcast is really just to put emphasis that you're more than just a sexless friend. Because I believe there's always a reason for something. And sometimes the reason is just, like, literally, there's always a reason for something. Whether you're like me and you made a vow to yourself, or whether you're just scared, or whether you're just picking the wrong people and it doesn't end up the way that you want to. Or maybe you're just causing blockages for yourself. And for those who are sexless, I do want you to be cautious because I'm going to get a little bit personal with it. Because with me, there is, especially when you are sexless and your friends have an active sex life, you kind of start living through your friends' sex life. You start starting to ask questions about how did this feel? How did that feel? And it's just like, oh girl, go ahead, go have sex for me. Like, you start hyping them up. Like, you don't want to, don't get me wrong. You're happy for your friends. You are very happy for your friends because they're either going to experience a bad sexual experience or they're going to have the best sex or good, you want to have that great connection where you're not being a hater. You're not being jealous over your friends, but there is that hint of jealousy because you want to experience what they are experiencing, but that backfires tremendously. That, I must be honest, that actually was the catalyst for this hellish week I've been having, it backfired because I realized how energetically I was being so codependent on a friend that I was unknowingly overstepping a boundary. And I feel bad now that I've realized the boundary, but it's just like, it becomes a hard thing to get through about, shit. Oh my gosh. Fuck. You don't realize it, I guess, until someone outside of the whole thing just notices shit. And and I really had to take my step back and really let go energetically just because I wanted to be able to live through someone. Because I've always I literally tell everybody I do have a boring life. I do. I really have to be honest with it. I do have a boring life. I literally just get up, I go to work, I come back. Some days I babysit. Some days I'll be with family, but the other days, it's just, there's a cycle. Which the cycle is going to be breaking soon. It's just right now in my current space and my current situations and building up to the change and doing all this stuff to make sure that I don't have the same cycles when I do move on. It's hard because I guess now when you realize that you're in a cycle and you realize that you have to break this, it becomes harder and the cycle just continues to bring you down and down until you continue doing it. And I think that's just really also the hellish week is that I'm trying to break these cycles. But anyway, back to the backfiring of living through other people's sex life is that you start building low-key resentment for that person. You start building jealousy. You start building curiosity. You start building shame, and I mean self-shame, like shame for yourself. You start building animosity, and you start building depression. Because now you're so fixated on this person living their life that you're so busy, that you're so blinded that you want to protect them from everything else, but from the things that you want. You know what I mean? Like you want to guard this person. You want to keep like here's a good analogy. You want to put this person in I was gonna say Rapunzel. But let's do that. Yeah. So say you want to put this person in a tower, but you're only gonna let this person out of the tower unless it's something that you would do. Because you want to know the experience of it. You want to live that moment. You want to know what it's like to be in that situation because right now you're unable to do it. And there is a manipulation to it. So I do want to say that now it sounds so harsh, but there was a manipulation to it that really can crash and clash, instead of letting that person live their life, you get frustrated because they're making decisions that you wouldn't do, or that they're making decisions that you would probably think about more, but they were so harshly doing it. And so it's very hard, especially when this person's your friend, especially if they're a close friend. You start really losing yourself in their life to a point where honestly your life doesn't even exist anymore. Your life is literally just being put on the back burner. You're so fixated on them really living it for you because you already know that especially if they're your close friends, they're going to tell you. And so then you get happy to know. And then there's a shift that I experienced where you start getting uncomfortable around the topic. You start feeling like you can't even relate. You start feeling like, what's the point if I can't even relate to you on this end? What's the point if I can't talk to you on this end because I don't have any? Which leads on to my next topic. You and your friends, you as a person who has a sexless life, and the friends who have an active sexless life will not understand each other. Let me repeat that. You who has a sexless life currently, and your friends who has an active sexless life won't understand each other. Why do I say that? Clearly, one thing is very obvious. You are not having sex and they're having sex. So the feelings that you're having with not having sex, not having intimacy, not being touched by someone, not doing this, that, and the fifth, your feelings cannot be understood by someone who does. And I guess that people do have to understand, especially if they're your close friends and they understand you on other things, there is one path. This is one path that they will not understand because they do not experience it. My friends cannot my friends cannot understand me being sexless for 6 years. No matter how much I say it, they cannot understand it. And I guess you get frustrated because it's just why can't you understand that this conversation about sex is making me uncomfortable because I can't be involved? This feels like that y'all just literally just putting me out of the house. Truthfully, conversations about sex, it really does affect me a little bit more than what it should let me. But then again, I start thinking damn, the last time I had sex, I was still in my early 20s. Hell, I was probably even 19. If I really want to be honest, I was probably even 19. I just say 20 because, that adds up to 6 years. But you won't understand each other on that level, and it is hard. And, when sex comes up, it's an uncomfortable conversation. It's uncomfortable for you to be in a conversation that you don't even fit in. That you can't even contribute because what do you know about it? And this goes for people who haven't had sex. And it's honestly, let me scratch that. This actually goes for people who's had sex, who has been sexless longer than 3 years. I'm going to give it 3 years. 3 years plus. Because really, if you had sex within a year or 3, you can still relate because it's still relevant. Because that energy is still relevant. But after 3 years, that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on, you start missing the feeling. You start romanticizing when it happened. You start really thinking even though it was bad sex, you start romanticizing the fact that was the best sex that I ever had. When in reality, it was bad. In reality, you wasn't pleased. In reality, you really didn't like it. but you romanticize it so you can be a part of the conversation, especially if your friends are having good sex. You start being a part of the conversation and you want to be there because you don't want to be separate from your friends in any way. It's a challenge that really I do challenge people with that, and I'm working on it my damn self. But you really have to sometimes separate yourself from the conversation. If that's includes you walking out the house, if that includes you walking out the room, if you have to distract yourself, put music in just so you don't feel left out, then do it. It's really just about really just protecting yourself in that situation, because your friends don't mean you harm, but at the same time, yes, I know you feel left out. I know you're literally looking like a chicken that literally cut off its head, and like you literally get tired of saying, well, I wish I experienced that. I want to experience that. One day I'll experience that. Like you get tired of trying to be hopeful in a situation like that. And your friends get tired of you fucking saying it too. They just won't say it. Like it's like you really do have to I don't want to say put that wall up, because I don't want you to shield yourself off from your friends emotionally, mentally. I don't want you to do that, because I want you to express your needs, but I get it. It could get annoying, and the conversation just keeps on coming up, but and then you're the one that's literally there. And it feels like that you're being left behind. It feels like that everyone else is going on with their life while you're going on with your life, but you feel like you're in the same place. And next thing you know, they're getting further and further and further. And it's just like, what do y'all need me as a friend for? Why do y'all need me around? Is it just like you start thinking these thoughts like, is it just to put it in my face? Is it just to shove that shit in my face because you know I'm not having sex, but you are? Is it just to make me jealous? Is it just because, do you have resentment for me? Is it because you want me to be little? Do you want to belittle me? Do you want me to be lower? Do you want me to rely on you? It's just all this shit that comes with this territory that you really have to understand, that there is a difference between a person who does not have sex and who is sexless to a person who has an active sex life. There is something that y'all just won't understand. And that's just the truth. And that's just something that you have to navigate through, and that's something that you really have to address early, which I wish I did, because now it is a hard process, because you don't want to disconnect from your friends. You don't want to really you don't want to separate yourself from your friends. You don't, but you want to protect yourself and not be uncomfortable in that situation, but that's their life and they want to express that. But so there's ways that you're going to have to protect yourself too, especially in that conversation. You're just, honestly, you may not understand, but you're just going to have to accept that you haven't had sex in so long, but they have. And so you're just going to have to listen, because maybe that friend, you're the only friend that they have. You may be the only true friend that they have, and they just have to express it. So I do challenge my people that you are more than just that sexless friend. But at the same time, there are evil motherfuckers out there who are really there to really just blow in your face, just put everything in your face, bring you down. So I just be cautious of that. Be very cautious of that, because that shit is true. But just know what's a real friend and what's not. Oh, excuse me. Well, that was confirmation. Yes, just know what's a real friend and what's not. Let me drink some water. Yeah, I got a little bit enthusiastic about that one. I definitely felt that. I don't know. I was just talking, so that's just what happened. So now let's talk about the other thing that a lot of people keep bringing to me up, and it's honestly annoying. I get it, and you know, it's they're not saying it just to say it. You know, it's a valid point. But this whole self-love thing, yes, you're always supposed to love yourself. You always, they tell you have to love yourself first, put yourself first. But people always say that, but yet they don't understand the negative side of that. Like, do you not understand that there is a negative side to loving yourself? No? Okay, well then let me fucking explain it. Cause you put me in the situation. Like, yes, people forget all the time that self-love is also, a form of self-love is you allowing yourself to receive love. And that's from everybody. Family, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, friends, best friends, kids, everything. That's a form of self-love. Like, literally allowing yourself to receive compliments, allowing yourself to receive praise. And sometimes that's hard for people because they don't feel like they deserve it. And that goes back to the friends. That goes back to the whole friends thing. That, like, you see your friends get compliments all the time, and thank yous and all this, but you wish that you felt like they did. That's self-love challenging. But the negative side of self-love is that if you love yourself so much, you start neglecting the love. You start feeling like you don't need to get praises from other people. And then sometimes with self-love, you want the praise so much that you will go out your way to just do anything to receive praise, to be so codependent on everybody else looking at your beauty and looking at how you're doing, presenting yourself, buying these clothes, buying that, getting your facelift, makeup, this, that you get lost and that you realize that you don't have really self-love. You're just relying on everybody else having the love for you without realizing it for the self. It's not a straight line. Self-love is not a straight line, and everybody is just making it seem like it is, and I guess that's why it's irritating for me to constantly hear it from everybody, because it's not. But no one wants to tell me, or like no one says that, yes, have this self-love, but you need to also have self-love in this way, that way, these ways. Do this for yourself. No one wants to give suggestions. Everyone is just saying, self-love this. Yeah, have self-love for yourself. Love yourself. Like it's easy. Like it's easy to just automatically just love yourself and all your flaws. Because we are humans that are going to find everything and anything that is wrong with us. There is not one human on this earth that loves every part of themselves. Why? Because it's human. We're not going to like it. That's why we go to friends. That's why we go to our partners. That's why we go to our lovers. It's because we want somebody. Because that's why people get into relationships. Because there is something about me or a part of me that I don't love, or that I don't strongly love about, but I accept about myself that you love more than me. And so that brings me peace in that area. Yes, I have love for myself and all the other ones, but that certain part I need extra help in. People fail to think that, but people don't say that because people don't think like that. People don't think like, why is she always with that relationship with that man? The man is not a bad man. Like, now, don't get me twisted. The man's not a bad man. But like, there is a part of it, like, you can see like the baddest one, you can see the most finest dude, but the reason why they're with a certain person, whether that person is toxic, whether that person is a good person, whether that person is the best person, whether that person is someone that you least expect them to be, it's because there's a part of that person that they don't love as much as they should, or they don't love as much as everything else about them that person loves about them. That's one of the compromises in relationships. It's actually part of the unspoken compromises in the relationship, in a relationship between two people. And it's not just like it's not just relationships, romantic. I do want to bring this up. This is platonic. This is also familial. Different bonds with families, different bonds with people. It's just like somebody will love something about you that you never even thought that you cared for, or you put on the back burner. And that's why you're always around, because they validate that one space that you least care about. But then again, you have people getting the things that you want who don't even work on themselves. Like, let me repeat that. Like, there are people out there that, when, especially on this self-love journey that people are in, people sometimes fail to realize how hard it is to watch people who don't even work on themselves, who are negative all the time, who are doing this, get the shit that they want, which affects them, which affects the people who are watching. Excuse me. It does affect people. Like you have no right to judge somebody else. You don't have no right to judge nobody else. You're not God. You're not the universe. You're not whoever you praise. Because I have a broad people who do different, whoever their higher power. And that's somewhat what jealousy is. Like, damn, you're getting married, but you cheated on this man how many times throughout the year? You even cheated on this man during your engagement. So how do you, how? Like, you start questioning that stuff, which you know that they're going to get their justice, because literally what goes around comes around, hands down. What goes up must come down. What's done in the dark will come into the light eventually. You have to remember that. But in the moment, you like, now how the hell did that happen? How the hell did you get a ring on your finger before me? Well, I shouldn't make that an analogy. I shouldn't make that. But yeah, that's somebody think of that. Somebody think of that. How did you get into a relationship, but I've been over here single, trying to get my life, trying to get my own house, trying to move, trying to start my own business, trying to do this, that, and the fifth. But yet I don't even have nobody to even talk to. I don't even have a potential. I don't even have someone who can show me that I can balance my love and my work life. But yet you over here getting all of it. Make that make sense. Like, it's that type of mindset that people would always have. And I don't know why good things happen to bad people. Yes, I said that what goes around comes around, so they're going to get that shit back in the future. But it's just like, how do all the bad people get good things before the people who are actually working on themselves, the people who are actually doing what they need to do, who are doing the damn thing, who are actually struggling because they're on their path? And being on your path that you're supposed to be on comes with struggles. It's supposed to make you stronger for the next chapter in your life that has another difficult path that you have to go down. Life flabbergates. I've said flabbergates. Flabbergates? No, flabbergast. Flabbergast, child. Life baffles me. There we go. It's just like situations just baffle me on something terrible when it comes to situations like that. And so I just, but that's really something that really does affect somebody's self-love journey. It's seeing other people who barely works on themselves, who works on themselves for a whole 2 days and then get something. But, and I will say that you do have to remind yourself that, you know, the working on yourself, it's different for everybody. But, you know, some people who work on themselves for 2 days, they are the evil ones because they work on themselves just to get something and then go back to who they used to be. That doesn't really align with what they're supposed to do at their big old grown age. Child, I almost said some names. Ooh, Chad almost said some names. I'm not about to be messy. This podcast is not supposed to be messy. I may shoot some subliminals. I will do that. I will say that. I will shoot some subliminals. I may say some specific situations that you know, but I'm not gonna say no names out of respect. But that is a difficult thing, and so we're almost done with the podcast. I didn't know I've been talking for almost like 48 minutes right now. So I guess I want to discuss my hopes and fears about this whole change. Is that, well, let's start with the fears. Let's start with the negatives before we get to positives. You know, my fear is that I'm going to be left behind. Excuse me. I'm sorry. But that's been my fear for a long time. Ever since I started therapy last year, that has been my worst fear, is that all my friends will just leave me behind because they realize that I'm the boring one. They realize that I am the one that's not active. I'm the one that's always just there. I'm the one that's always just having to I have nothing to tell my friends. You know, that's one thing that I do hate about my life currently right now, especially with, I guess I'm going through a huge transition right now, which explains why everything wants to pop up to the fucking surface like a damn what's that like a damn geyser, the water geysers, like yeah, all that pressure building up and everything just exploding, which honestly, and I do, if any of my friends are listening to this, I do want to apologize, especially if I've been like emotionally dumping or like getting sensitive. I guess I do, not even I guess, I know. A lot of these emotions have been building up throughout these whole 6 years. So, I hate that I really hate that it all is coming out so late in my 20s. But I guess it was needed for this reason. And so, I just don't want to be abandoned. I don't want to. I'm already selective. I'm gonna be honest. I have Virgo in my 11th house. I'm already selective when it comes to friends. And the people that I do are friends with right now, I'm already committed to and I'm already close to. And like, I'm very selective when it comes to friends. I can't help it. That's my, can't help it. For all my astrology girlies out there, yes, I have Virgo in my 11th house. So I'm very picky when it comes to friends, hands down. I've always been like, wait, yes, I've been friendly, but I can tell you right now, I promise you, throughout my years of school, I've rocked with probably less than 5 people a year, but I was cool with everybody else, you know? Um, but that's really my fear, is that people will realize, or like will have thoughts that I'm boring, will have thoughts that there's no reason for me to be around them. There's nothing that they can, I don't want to say gain, because that's not really something that I want to say. There's nothing that they can, I'm going to say that. There's nothing that they can gain from being friends with me, um, or being close to me, or being cool with me. You know, there's no benefit, even if it's just having a companion or just having someone to talk to. Like that's my fear, in all honesty. That's my biggest fear, is being alone. Yes, I like my alone time. I like my solitude times, but I have a social battery. Yes, it may be low, but my social battery is fine with people that I'm close to and friends that I'm comfortable with. That's my social, like, honestly, it's not really a social battery. I mean, it is, but it does involve a social battery. But my social battery drains us way slower when I'm around friends that I can trust than just going out in the clubs like I did months ago, where my battery just drained so quickly with all these people being around. Um, so that's my biggest fear, honestly. That's the biggest fear that I remember. I remember crying to my counselor. I mean, my therapist, like literally, like as soon as I said my fear, it just started crying. I'm just thinking, like, damn, I really don't want to be alone. Granted, I only have one, two, three, like 5 friends, like that I still talk to. Like, granted, I'm still cool with everybody. I'm still cool with everybody. I still text everybody. Don't get me wrong, but like friends that I talk to on a daily basis, like every day or every other day basis, that's 5. And they're all grown and adults and have their own life. Some own houses, some got business. One got business. One handles kids. Um, like they have their own life, so I can't really expect them to be like, "Oh, Giant text me. Let me pause my life to do that." No, I can never expect that. But that is a fear of mine. A hope is that I'm able to get these feelings in check, that I'm able to accept these feelings, that I'm able to bring these feelings to a conclusion, um, some closure, able to release these feelings and let go. Because I recently, like I said, like literally, this past week, I really did have to let go energetically of my codependency to my friend, which honestly, it honestly just, I busted into tears. I remember just texting them, just like stating that I was going to do this, I was going to do that, which involved me stepping back. Just because I felt so, what's the word, obliged, or I felt so obliged. Is that the word? But I felt like I had to protect them in ways. And, after I texted them it was a paragraph. I remember that. It was a paragraph saying that I will step back. I'll be out your business. I won't insert myself and all this, that, and the fifth that I have been doing, but realizing that I realized that I didn't know I was doing. And I was just crying. Like it felt like I lost a part of me like so quickly. And I felt like that our friendship was just going to end off the bat. I mean, granted, yes, we're still friends. Don't get that twisted. We're still friends, but it's just like at the time, it just felt like I lost it. And I texted that at work. I'm glad I was actually in the office when I was working, because I just started crying. Like I really just lost a part of me that I've been so used to, which wasn't healthy, which I do want to state that it wasn't healthy at all for me to be in that state. But, it was necessary. It was I needed to let go, but it was just like, damn. That's what it feels like to like let go. I really realized but then again, I care for my friend. I really do care for my friend. So that's really, that's nothing. That's really nothing of surprising that it hurt that much. But man, But hopefully, like another one of my hopes is that I can like release all this. Another one of my hopes is actually get into a relationship because I do want to have sex and I don't want to be the party pooper to my friends to be like, you know what, I'm about to walk out. Y'all talking about sex? Let me just walk out. Let me just and when y'all done, I'll come back in. It's fine. Y'all just have y'all conversation, so I can um then I'll come back after y'all done. I don't want to do that, so I'm definitely going to be working on that a little bit more. I'm definitely going to be working on that way more. So, but as of right now, I may start doing that so I don't feel left out of the conversation. So I don't feel like the third wheel in the conversation instead of the wheel that's on it. I just, I do have to distance myself from it just a tiny bit so I don't, so these, so I don't bring negativity into a good environment. So that is a hope that everything does change that way, but that's just that's just where my hopes and fears are at with this whole situation. Really, really. So, um, I do want to give some advice to those who are sexless and who has been sexless for who has been celibate or sexless. Have a dry spell with all the matter. It doesn't matter how long it's been. Maybe it's been actually. I'll scratch that. If you have not had sex in 2 days, this is. I guess I can't give you no violence. But if it's been like we'll say 6 months and more, we'll say 6 months and more. That's the only thing I can think of. Because honestly, if you had sex 5 months ago, child by. So let's say 6 months and more. I just want to give some advice on that, especially for those who are in this waiting period, who has been like really. It felt like that you have been planning for a long time, just to like be intimate or have sex with someone. And it's okay to be in a waiting period. I mean, hell, I've been in a waiting period for a long time. It does take a long time, and the song that comes up in my head that I actually have been listening to has been that Luther Vandross song, "Wait for Love." I was like, I did not mean to laugh, but every time I said Luther Vandross, I think of Tiffany Polish, where the girl said that her friend said she liked Beyonce. She said, Beyonce, Beyonce. She said more like Luther Vandross. Oh my god, Tiffany is a trip, bro. Oh my god, that was. Oh gosh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh, that was so funny. Oh my gosh, I need to watch that clip later. She said, Beyonce? Who flavors? Let me tell you something. Reality shows back then do not compare. Oh my gosh. Yeah, these shows nowadays do not compare to those. Whew, okay. But yeah, especially for those who have been waiting for a long time. It does take a long time, especially for the Luther song "Wait for Love." It does give hope, and that's what you need to start walking into, especially with you grounding yourself in reality. Like you really do need to start like putting and it's gonna take some time. That you really do need to start being a little bit more hopeful and a little bit more on the neutral positive side, because I'm not going to tell you there won't be some negative thoughts that come on your head. So it's okay to be in that neutral path, and it's okay to have that little like that standstill to be like, okay, I know I don't feel the best, and I wish this would happen now, but let me just keep walking. Just have that neutral energy of you, and just to be a little bit more positive, a little bit more hopeful, which is, I say, it's always easier said than done. There's a gift that's going to be to you. I promise you that right now. There will be a gift that you may not even see coming, but it's a different gift. So I do want you to also be cautious about your mind, especially for those who are, especially if someone does randomly come up. It's okay to have your guard up mentally. It's okay to really address, like, mentally you are guarded because you don't want your mind to really go back to the dark thoughts. But you have to sometimes allow that, just because and once you allow those dark thoughts to come in, you're actually doing a self-love thing, and that's addressing what you think and how you feel. Because how we think, a lot of times, things that we think of constantly affects how we feel. So you mentally you can't really just keeping your guard up, but you can keep your guard up for negative thoughts. You can keep your guard up for thoughts that you said that you wouldn't have no more, or thoughts that you're like, why are you here? It's really just time to put your foot down on some of the thoughts, because with when negative thoughts come in, I can tell you right now, emotionally you're going to be burdened. You're really just going to be emotionally burdened, trying to find the remedies of trying to find ways and go against your morals and go against your standards just to just to please those thoughts. And going against our standards, people it backfires on us. Because then people be talking about, I wish I never did this. I should have never did this. Oh my God, why did I sleep with that person? Why did I give that person money? Like, it's just, we really do have to set standards for us. And mentally, we have to keep reminding us of those standards. We have to keep reminding us of the things that we've promised ourselves. Yes, and I get right now, like literally, I guess, especially like your sex life is not what you want. Your sex life is not what you expect it to be. Your sex life is not really what you expected it to be better. And honestly, it's supposed to have a dry spell right now. It's supposed to, a lot of you guys are supposed to be celibate. It's just the way that it is, you know? And a lot of you guys may be like me, like sensitive to energy. So having that energy exchange, just like, I won't be able to take it. I won't be able to handle it. So, I do want to say right now, a lot of you guys, I know, like, child, I know with everything going on, I think right now, either if you're moving, I say this, like, literally, if you're moving, like, in the near future, if you're moving, that's a great sign for change. A vacation, some of you guys may be traveling. Say y'all prayers when y'all travel, because y'all know these planes. Child, some of y'all gonna be flying Spirit. I still don't trust Spirit. But hey, prayer. But a lot of you guys will be traveling. I feel like a lot of you guys need to go on an adventure and needs new environment, because the environment that you're in right now is really holding you back. And take a word from me. I think that's really one of the reasons why I am so like physically, like not physically, excuse me, like mentally and emotionally attacked, because I'm in the same environment in the same area as everyone else, but I'm struggling to find something, but everybody else around me seems to make it look so easy. It may not be easy, but it definitely looks it to me. You know, because some of my friends, they don't go too personal, and I don't, and you know what, and that's just me having new boundaries with my friends. I don't expect them to get too personal with me now, but that's just the thing. A lot of you guys definitely need to start, like, I feel like, especially like get your money up, especially if you want to travel, but definitely start doing things, start getting into old hobbies, because I feel like once you start working hard, like your hard work is really just gonna pay off. Like literally, like especially for those celibate, I promise you, you're gonna find somebody that you really can trust yourself with. For those, like, you're really just gonna put yourself in your career, become a boss, your business. Like, it's just start getting into old hobbies. Like literally, I literally just started getting into the podcast, which the uploads will be slow because I do want to get people on here, but I do want to say start getting into something. And like sometimes you have to like distract yourself, but distracting yourself, those thoughts are going to creep up out of the blue. So you do have to be ready for those thoughts coming back into your life or coming back into your mind, but also knowing how to allow them to be in the back seat and not the front seat like it has been. I'm working on that my damn self. And right now, you really are being called to just be present. Really, this is all happening right now. Like, seriously, this is all happening right now. And you're going to have to be the change. And sometimes, you already set that change in motion. But right now, a lot of you guys have set your change in motion. But you're moving towards that change, which honestly, when change starts happening, things start getting a little bit, things start getting a little bit hellish. Things start getting a little bit of trying to make you stop that change. So a lot of you guys have made goal dates. A lot of you guys have made plan dates. A lot of you guys already have like a specific date in the future that you have for when that change, for when this cycle ends and a new cycle begins, and then where that change starts. And things just happen in your life that builds up to that change that really stops you from even approaching that change. So just don't stop while that change is happening. It's going to happen. Things are going to be I always say things are going to be better, and sometimes I have to remind myself of that. So, um, yeah, I just hope that advice gave somebody some hope or somebody a word of wisdom that they needed. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for listening for this hour and 4 and 5 minutes. Oh my gosh. Well, of this podcast of season 2 of Holla at Ya. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for allowing me to like not rant, but rant because I had the checklist right here, so I was just checking everything off. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys, or yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode, which I don't know when that's gonna come out. This was spontaneous, but let's get it. Let's go. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay positive, stay blessed, because you're always being watched and you're highly favored. So see y'all later. Mwah!